Okay, I just replied to a post that Britt Steva made. Mind you, I have nothing but respect for this woman. Has done so much for our industry. It's unreal. But the post was something like, salon suites aren't stealing stylists, poor leadership is. I think that's what it is. Yes. And you know what? Here's the truth. I could not agree more. I cannot agree more. Not only was I a product of that, but I also did that for a long time, for the first few years of my salon ownership journey. And mind you, I thought that being a good salon owner meant I had to give everything away for free. I had to put myself at the bottom. I had to not make any money being a salon owner. I've done everything. I've done booth rental models. I've done employee models. I am now in a hybrid model with flexible booth rent and a mentorship and intern program, which has been the most successful for us. Mind you, I don't have to sacrifice on being a good business owner or making money in the salon in order to put my people first. So how does that work? Number one, I believe I have some core fundamental feelings and philosophies about salon ownership and salons and the way that they run. Number one, how do we rebuild client trust? Because I believe that is the biggest chasm in our industry right now. Clients have never been more educated. They've never been more aware, had such access to information. They literally at the tip of their fingertips can be like, is my stylist full of shit? And you better be able to answer that question. And you better be able to, as a stylist, speak to whatever it is that they're finding online. So let's just say the bar, the level, the standard of education has gone up. What is necessary to be a salon owner? You can't just be a great stylist. You need to be a phenomenal educator. And I'm not saying that you have to be the best educator in your salon or the most educated in your salon, but you do need to be a strong enough educator that people are gonna wanna come learn from you because your depth of knowledge is so great and your willingness to share it is unstoppable, okay? I used to have to compromise my educational values, which was I thought I was just gonna have to teach for free or for nothing. And then over here in this side pocket, I could make my own money by working behind the chair. And obviously that was just pulling me too thin. I was like, had two hands, one in each world. And I didn't know how to support and educate and also make money. So then I was like, well, why don't we charge for education, right? That's like what most educators do. And that also had its own set of problems in that the people that I'm looking to educate don't have that money to spend on education. They're not $100,000 stylists behind the chair. They're not even $50,000 stylists behind the chair. They're broke beauty school students who are lucky if they have a family member helping them out with college tuition or school tuition. And so those are the people I wanted to reach. So what did I do? I started teaching at one of the local schools, and that also had its own list of issues, right? So how was I gonna build a bridge in this chasm of there are people that need to be taught, there are people that want to be taught, and how do I make education accessible to them while I'm also not burning a hole in my own pocket and also able to pay my own bills? So that is essentially the core values of how our internship program was born. Salon owners, you have to be phenomenal educators. You have to be passionate about it, and you have to be competent in it. I think one of the biggest hesitations I've always had, and I know that other people have in educating, is they're not even 100% sure that what they're educating on or sharing is correct. But here's the thing, that fear, all it does is prevent you from moving forward. I've always said, hey, if I'm wrong, tell me. I'll teach it differently next time. But I only know what I know, right? And what I know has gotten me this far. And I know there's people out there that want to know what I know. So why would I withhold them that information from them and not share it simply because I'm afraid I might be wrong? Well, guess what? The chances of you being wrong are probably very high. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm wrong a lot, actually. And if I put something up on the internet that isn't the way it should be, or I'm not articulating it correctly, somebody should speak up and stop me. Because you know what? I will give them the space to talk, and I will definitely want to listen and learn. And you know what? If it works for me, then I'll use it. And if it doesn't work for me, then I'll throw it out, right? So that's just my philosophy on withholding information, okay? So Number one, how are we going to rebuild guest trust, right? Well, we need to have competent, educated stylists. We also need to have a reason for them to want to come back into the salon. So this is why we do a free blowout program, right? This blowout program is managed and completed completely by our junior stylist team. So these are the people that have gone through our intern program that are competent and capable and educated, that now want to network and meet new clients and have new client opportunity and are willing to offer free blowouts just for the sake of FaceTime with people with the objective of building client trust, right? That is our goal. And if nothing comes of it other than we give a great service to somebody and we never see them again, but they leave happy and feel like they're well taken care of, then we've done our job. Because there is a huge chasm right now with guest trust in this industry. Unfortunately, a lot of that is because of the lack of leadership that we've had in the salon front and the provision of education, the standard of excellence in which we should be holding ourselves to, our stylists to, and our salons to, our industry together. So we have an intern program. We have a free blowout program. And then the other divide is, how do we entice strong veteran artists to want to work at our salon, to contribute the knowledge that they have in giving back to our new generation? How do we encourage that cycle, right? Well, veteran artists, they want to be their own bosses. They want to be autonomous. They don't want to be told what to do or how to do it. And rightfully so. They've made it 15 years, 10 years in the industry so far, and they're doing all right. So let them be. And you know what? You better have a salon to accommodate whatever it is that they need. Do they need an intern team to fold towels and clean dishes and make sure clients are greeted? Then you better have one. Do they need flexible booth rental models where they just want to come work 1 week out of the month or 2 weeks out of the month with no commitment outside of that? You better have something for them to serve them in that way, right? Do they just want to come and be able to sell station products from their station, the products that they like and recommend? You better be able to let them do that, right? So I think a lot of salon owners, they're deterred by that idea because they think that they don't make money by having booth renters like that, by having people who want to sell their own products, people who want to just pay a weekly rent, come and go. This is where you're wrong, okay? The interns come to our salon because there are giants in the room and they want to be a giant one day, okay? There are leaders in the room and they want to be a leader one day. They want to be around these people. These people are invaluable to your culture, to your success. They have so much to offer. You need to be able to meet their needs as a salon owner. And you need to be able to allow them the autonomy to thrive and flourish in the way that's best for them and their business. Because if it's good for them, it's going to be good for you. Also, here's the thing. If you're running a thriving marketing program for your salon and you are actually generating the traffic necessary to sustain a large salon environment by utilizing things like the free blowout program that I have, then veterans are going to want to come work at your salon. Why? Well, number one, you're going to be number one on Google. You're going to be the first salon that pops up when someone in your town Googles something like salons near me, okay? This is enticing. Why? Because even though veterans may have their philosophies, they may have their business practices, which are different than yours, they still want to be upfront, as they deserve to be. And unfortunately, being in a salon suite for someone like that means that they're now isolated. They're granulated. Their marketing power and reach has been dampered. It's been shrunk. It has a cloud over it. There's only so much that one person or two people or three people in a working environment like that can do. There's only so much reach that they have, no matter what you say, right? There's only so much reach that can get done, okay? So when you have 20 stylists marketing on behalf of themselves and the salon environment that you've created, all pushing forward in the same direction. We're talking asking for Yelp reviews. We're talking posting on your local marketplace or groups. We're talking networking with their neighbors and their circle of influence and their family and friends. When you have 20 people all doing that in the same direction, the machine gets really big and moves really fast and becomes unstoppable, right? These are things that you cannot pay a marketing company to get this kind of exposure. You cannot pay a networking or marketing group by yourself, one person or one company, to get the kind of generated momentum and buzz and word of mouth needed to drive traffic to your website, to boost your SEO, to get new guest requests, to get those Yelp reviews that are driving people into your salon and giving you a new guest demand. How does this benefit the veteran artist? This benefits the veteran artist in a lot of ways, because veterans in our salon, they have the first right of refusal on new guests. And a lot of salons have that backwards, unfortunately. They get a commission stylist in there, brand new out of school. They show them a few things and they're like, okay, you're first in line to get new guests. What? They're the least experienced. They're the least committed to the brand. They're the least influential in the culture. They are learning themselves and sometimes not even sure or confident. Sometimes they don't even feel like they want it because they feel like they're getting thrown to the wolves. They feel like they need more time, they need more support. But yet you have veteran artists here who might get a cancellation on a Wednesday and be willing to fill that spot with somebody who called in on a Tuesday. Why aren't you gonna offer it to them? Oh, I know, I remember. Yeah, because most salon owners feel like they're losing the money opportunity with that new guest. And that is such a shame. That's such a shame that as a salon owner, you haven't come up with a creative enough way that is fair, that is supportive, that is transparent to monetize on your marketing efforts, even though that new guest is going to a booth renter. These are solutions that I've come up with, and I'm happy to share them with people who are serious and invested in changing the culture of this industry. But our veteran artists are what make our world go round. They're the ones who are the biggest contributors to the culture. They are the most experienced. They're the most ready to take a new client, whether they want to or not. And guess what? That support that you offer them is invaluable to them. Even if they don't take the new client, just knowing that you as a salon owner have their back and they're just a weekly booth renter. They're just here 1 week a month, or they're here 2 weeks a month, but they're fabulous stylists. It builds you a loyalty that you cannot pay for. It can't be found. It's created. It's not bought. It's authentic. It's not tricked. It's not manipulated. It just is what it is, right? So in our salon, stylists like that get the first right of refusal, right? Having said that, there's a better way to do it. I believe that 1,000%. And I think if we can start thinking outside of the box, and I don't think it requires salon owners to sacrifice their well-being, sacrifice their ability to pay their bills, or marginalize their needs to keep going. I don't think it requires that. If I hold classes every Monday live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I want you to tune in. If you can't tune in, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel. And if you're a salon owner that is interested in changing the environment or shifting the dynamic or starting to run a profitable booth rental salon where your veterans have full autonomy and your new stylists are not starving, they are thriving. And if you really want to combat this granulated idea of isolation and self-preservation in the salon suites, we have to do better, right? We have to know better, we have to do better, we have to offer more, and I'm a firm believer that that can happen. I think for so long as salon owners, we only just thought there was one way to do things, or two ways to do things. You either had a booth rental salon or you had a employee-based model salon, and we just ran it as we were taught to run it. And when we started getting consumed with responsibilities, and when we started realizing that our bottom lines were drowning us, we would panic and we'd act out of fear and we'd make decisions that were not beneficial for everybody, right? Because we're like, well, we're trying to save the ship, and if we can't save the ship, then we're all going down. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? I'm sorry. How about save the stylist? How about that? Save the stylist, because if the stylist thrives, the boat's gonna thrive. And if we can set up systems to support that, we're talking educational growth and mentorship for new stylists, and we're talking supportive salon environments for veterans that includes new guest opportunity and marketing opportunity for veterans, then we're not gonna have to sacrifice the stylist to save the ship, right? I truly believe there is a new wave of salon owner, a new breed of salon owner about to hit the market. In fact, I think it's on the market. I think there's other salon owners like myself who are getting very creative in figuring out ways to create thriving, supportive cultures for every stylist in the salon and are learning how to innovate and dominate the industry, their local markets, while giving full autonomy to stylists to run their businesses the way they want to and creating healthy cultures and environments that people actually want to be around. I think once that wave of and that generation of salon owner starts using their voice to be more prevalent in this industry, that's when we're really going to start seeing the dichotomy, the shift, the change in our industry. And once we get stylists back into salons, that's when you're going to start to see the real progression in our industry as far as innovation, craft, dedication, guest service, guest satisfaction, service excellence. I believe that all of these things are populated, birthed, and grown in a collaborative environment, right? And it's not necessarily the suite, it's just the idea of isolation and how that will cannibalize a business if it's not run properly and correctly. It causes unneeded pressure, unneeded stress, and all of these things trickle down into the services that we give our clients, which ultimately contributes to the dissatisfaction of our guests. So I believe that these new salon owners are on their way. I believe that it's fully possible and can absolutely flip this whole industry onto its head if it's done right. So leave your thoughts. I want to hear them. If you disagree, happy to hear that out. I'd love to hear it. In fact, I'd love to encourage it because there is no growth without self-education, and there is no growth without allowing yourself to be educated by others. And so if I'm wrong, I'm happy to admit it. But if I'm right, you're going to have to admit it.